Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video, I'm taking a look at the Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme Catback exhaust with the black tip fitting 2010 and newer 4-liter 4Runners. This one is going to appeal to the 4Runner owner who wants more volume and more clearance for a reasonable price. If you're looking to add a big splash of personality to your rig or increase your capability out on the trail, then this might just be the one for you. And as you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, there is nothing subtle about the sound of this exhaust. We're gonna give this one a full 5 out of 5 on our loudness meter. So it's gonna give you more of everything that you are looking for. Toyota's 4-liter V6 is a lot of things, but great sounding, not so much. There isn't much really to it sound-wise besides the whir of the engine fan, but Flowmaster set about to change all of that with the Outlaw Extreme Catback. And the sound clips we got of it really don't entirely do this one justice. It sounds absolutely nothing like your stock exhaust, that is for certain. You get some real raspiness out of this one. It's gritty, it's aggressive, but it's not super deep. It's not gonna make your truck sound like it has a V8 under the hood, but it's gonna give it a really cool and unique sound anyway. And that is all thanks to this little bullet style muffler right here. Again, this is a catback system, so it's gonna replace all of your stock muffler and resonator pieces with just this right here, but it is gonna keep all your emission systems intact. As you can tell, there's not a lot of piping here on the table. That means that this is essentially a turn down style setup, which means a couple of things for the rest of your driving experience. Of course, more sound outside is going to translate to more sound inside of the cabin. This is certainly the case here, but again, as you heard in the clips at the beginning of the video, it's not intolerable. This is going to be a significant increase in volume versus stock, however, and that is also partially due to this layout. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is not your typical single exit exhaust, one that exits out by the bumper. This dumps right under the passenger compartment ahead of the rear axle, basically right underneath the rear seats of the 4Runner. So you forgo that traditional tip and over axle pipe. But the benefit here is that since you are eliminating that over axle pipe completely, that's gonna give you a lot more clearance in the rear of the truck. It's less hanging out behind your rear wheels by your bumper. So if you're doing some heavier duty off-roading or overlanding, it's gonna help with your departure angle. It also helps keep things tight to the underside of the truck, which is most important for some tougher trails. This is basically gonna sit on the inside of your frame rail. You won't even see it underneath of the truck unless you get under there and really look for it. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of you out there who have gotten your exhaust hung up before. Heck, I've almost done it on a street car, and it's not a fun time. So all that to say, if you fall in the cross section of folks who like loud exhaust and want some additional ground clearance, well, this is your answer right here. The good news continues. The system is constructed entirely from 16-gauge mandrel bent T409 grade stainless steel, and the piping is all 3 inches in diameter through the muffler all the way out to the tip. The muffler in this instance is also finished in a high temp black coating to keep it nice and stealthy looking, but also to help protect against rust and corrosion. Now, the whole system being made from 409 stainless though is also going to provide you good protection against that sort of thing as well. So if you do find yourself out hitting the trails or some adverse conditions, this should hold up well for a while, should be resistant to rusting, corrosion, and things like that, and even perforation in most cases. And it's not going to cost you as much as something that's made from T304 stainless either. So if you do happen to bang it up, get it caught on something, or even poke a hole in it, it's not going to put a huge dent in your wallet. And that brings us nicely to the price. This one's gonna come in at about $425, which again makes it an affordable option, especially when compared to other catbacks on the market. Again, you're going to save a bit versus a system that's made from T304 stainless, and since you're foregoing that traditional tip and over axle pipe, this is a really solid setup. It's not a lot of piping here, and especially if you wanna do some overlanding or off-roading, this is going to be a great choice for you. Even more so when we talk about the installation. We're gonna give this one a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter. It should only take you about an hour to complete. Since you're not dealing with that over axle pipe, it makes this a bit easier than most other exhausts on the market. Now, this is gonna utilize your factory exhaust hanger locations, so you don't need to modify anything in this instance, and you've got the clamp that you need ready to go right out of the box. It's probably gonna take you more time to get your stock exhaust off than it is to get this one on, because it's just really 2 bolts, slide it in, and this clamp, and then you're ready to go. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump on out to the shop and we'll show you exactly what's involved.
For this install, you will need an impact, extension, 14mm swivel socket, 15mm socket, a hanger removal tool, a pry bar, also not shown here, is a pole jack or a floor jack. What's up guys? Today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our 4Runner, so let's get started. So we're going to start off by unbolting our flange here at our over axle section. And for that we're going to use our 14mm swivel socket on our impact. It's a little bit tricky, but you can fish this down behind the axle here. Come in from the top. Go ahead and do the same thing for our other bolt. Go ahead and remove both of those bolts. Then we can go ahead and add on an extension to our swivel socket. Go ahead and get this other one out. You can come right over top of this hanger here. So now we've got a pole jack under our muffler to help support it while we remove the hangers from our muffler section as well as our collector back there at the Y pipe. So we'll go ahead and grab our hanger removal tool and start popping these out. This one back up here is right by your flange. Then we'll go ahead and move back and remove the rest of them. So now we'll go ahead and remove this one first, closest to our flange, as it's going to make it easier to push our muffler back and get this one at the back side of the muffler off. We'll go ahead and pop this off. This one is a bit tight, but you can get in there. Once we pop that off, we'll come to this one on the back side of the muffler, and we're going to have to push our muffler back towards the rear of the vehicle while we're pulling this isolator off. You always want to support your muffler and mid-pipe section at this point, even with the pole jack on it. Now once we have those off, we'll go ahead and start lowering our pole jack down. Make sure we have clearance. And we can go ahead and remove our muffler section. So now we can go ahead and remove our last hanger here at our tail section. We're going to go ahead and support our over axle / tailpipe while we do so. This one is a little bit tricky to get to. You can work it back. Work your hanger removal tool in there. And go ahead and work that out. Once that pops, go ahead fish our over axle and tail section out and set this aside. So now we can go ahead and get our new mid pipe installed. So first we're going to go ahead and line this hanger up with our factory isolator. Go ahead and get that in. And we'll get it lined up with our flange. Then we're going to go ahead and reinstall our factory spring bolts. Get them both started. Now we're going to leave these loose for now in case we need to make any adjustments for the rest of our system. Now we're going to take our provided clamp and go ahead and slide that over the mid-pipe section just so it's already on there and we don't forget it. Then we'll take our muffler section here. We're going to line these hangers up with our two factory ones at the rear where our factory muffler was. We'll go ahead and get these on. We're going to slide those as far back as we can. It's going to give us clearance for our other ones. And we'll go ahead and line our slip joint up with our mid pipe here. Go ahead and slide that back into place. Just want to work that back into position. And we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a pry bar, run it on this hanger here. This is just going to help us get into our slip joint here. work this into position. Now we can go ahead and get our last hanger in position. Slide that all the way back. Get our isolator lined up with it. This one is a little bit tough, but it will go. Pop that on. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our 2 spring bolts. So again, we'll grab our 14 mil swivel socket and extension on our impact and tighten these down. Now we'll go ahead and slide our clamp over our slip joint. Make sure your clamp is basically flush with the end of your slip joint. And we'll go ahead and grab our 15 mil socket on our impact and tighten this down. Make sure everything's nice and secure. That'll do it. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme Catback Exhaust with black tip for your 10 to current 4-liter 4Runner. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything 4Runner, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.